Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mohamed, and now I want to explain about rights and obligation. Every human being has their own rights and obligation. Rights are everything that must be obtained by everyone who has existed since they were born or even before birth, while obligations are something that must be implemented or something that must be done. In daily life, we need to pay attention and protect the rights of others and also carry out our obligation. The simplest example is we as children are required to respect our parents because they have the right to be respected. And as Muslim, we also have an obligation to perform fardu prayers because of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has the right to be worshipped. According to the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And I did not create jinns and humans but only to worship me. Ad-Dhariyat verse 56. In the implementation, there are several kinds of violation of right and obligation. These are the things that we will discuss in this video.
Assalamualaikum. I'm going to talk on the nature of this pollution. Pollution affects us in so many ways. Our environment, our health, animals, plants, and every creature in this world. There are many types of pollution, but I'm going to focus only 3 of them: air pollution, water pollution, and plastic pollution. In my discussion, I will include the reasons to these 3 pollutions. Let's go to the first one, air pollution. Considered as the biggest threat to the environment. Why? Because they're able to move from one place to another place in a weather pattern. And the reasons are ambient pollution and household pollution. Ambient pollution involved with outdoor activities such as natural events like volcanic eruption or wildfire activities, or human activities such as smoking and open burning waste. Next is household pollution. Activity inside the house such as cooking. Why? Because the use of kerosene will produce carbon monoxide, and the more we expose to it, the more risk to our life. Next, water pollution. Water pollution happens on its water bodies. And there are 2 types of water pollution: surface water and groundwater. For surface water, we can see all trash on its surface, and it happens due to the disposal of sewage waste such as sanitary pad, pharmaceutical drugs, paper, tissue, etc. And groundwater pollution happens due to the soil contamination by using the pesticide and fertilizer in agriculture. These may help farmers to make their crop bigger, but it affects our water quality, also air quality. Last but not least, plastic pollution. It happens due to the micro debris and macro debris. Micro debris is a small size of plastic which comes from the decomposition of macro debris, and macro debris is bigger size of plastic such as plastic grocery bag, plastic bottle, or even fishing nets. Why fishing nets? Okay, let's see. Fishing nets, what happens to fishing nets when it stays too long in the water? It can become poison to aquatic life, and also it can become toxic to the water quality. This is why it's dangerous to human life and also aquatic life. Last, looking at all these reasons to the pollutions, which one affects us the most? The answer is air pollution, because it covers 75% out of all pollutions. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Now I want to introduce misuse of leadership. From a small team to a country, leaders play a very important role. However, there are many misuse problems of leadership in our real life. If a leader cannot play its role well, it is likely to cause disharmony within the team. The assignment of tasks is not in place, and ultimately cannot complete of tasks of the team on time. Leadership also existed in every aspect of our lives. This is not only a simple management and obedience, but also a kind of guidance to guide members to experience their views. The whole team actively thinking and discusses so that leader can develop effective strategies to achieve the group's goal faster and more efficiently. Misuse of leadership is often due to following reasons. First one, the power supervision system is not perfect. Second, self-interest drives the abuse of power. Thirdly, the endurance of the influenced has led to intensified abuse of the power. The last one is centralization of the rights. Now, let's come up with some solution to this problem. If the leader makes a mistake, employees can put forward their own opinions and correct them. When facing a new crisis, leaders need to have innovative ways to find some new leadership practices suitable for the crisis stage. In order to better deal with emergent problems, it's also better face future challenges.
Assalamualaikum and hi. In this video, I will talk about the misuse and abuse of gender equality, which is specific on women. Gender inequality always happens in economy between men and women. However, women are the most affected in gender inequality compared to the men. In the economy, men and women are not served equally because they thought that women are powerless and they cannot control the business as well as men. Even in the community and society, women are always misused and abused by the men due to the powerless of them. The society has bad mindset about women to be a leader in community, and they also set in their mind that men will be the top of the economy and family. They think that they can control all under them. Because of that, they feel that they are powerful and hence women's rights will be abused and misused by them. There are causes that lead to misuse of women's rights in the economic crisis, which relate to economic abuse and financial abuse. For economic abuse, the abuse of women's rights is preventing women's resource acquisition, which are education and employment. For education, basically the family or the parents do not give their daughter to study in a higher education even if their daughter is good in study, and maybe in the future she will become a professional. For them, they think that a woman does not need a higher education because a woman is dedicated to staying at home, taking care of family needs such as cooking and doing chores. Meanwhile, for employment, division of job leads to gender inequality. Most of jobs are manipulated by men because they believe that men simply better equipped to handle certain jobs. Besides, misuse of women's rights for employment not only from the workplace but also from the family and husband. The husbands are providing their wife from obtaining and maintaining the employment without assistance from the wives. Henceforth, the husband will hold back women's resource use. The husband prevent their wives from using any resources that belong to the wife. The husband use their power as the head of the family to control the resources distributed and monitor the use of it. For financial abuse, financial problem is one of the reasons for the abuse of women's rights.
It happens when the family is short of money and they borrow some money from illegal loan shark to get some money to open a business. Rather than the father, the mother and the daughter are the most affected in this case. If the father cannot pay the loan shark will make the mother and the daughter into prostitutes. Moreover, the husband who has low salaries than the wife or does not work, he will exploit the wife's resources. The husband asks the wife to pay all the household and the child care to support the family. If not, he will harsh the wife by violence them physically and mentally. Furthermore, the husband also steals money and valuable items such as jewelry that belongs to his wife and his kids. By stealing the valuable items, he can sell it and get a huge amount of money to spend it. Besides, for the financial abuse to women, the husband creates a debt under the wife's name so that he does not need to pay the loan and the bank will not fine him if he cannot pay it.
Hello everyone, I am Akila. Today I will talk about the effect of nature abuse. The first one is effect on human health. The air pollution is able to make people sick. This is because the mixture of gases are able to disturb people's respiratory system. There are many types of diseases that can happen to people. For example, like lung cancer and asthma. When people are sick, they cannot perform their works in the right way. For example, like they have to have medical leave. So in this case, they cannot go to work. What happened to the company when they cannot work? The company maybe will generate low profit as they lack of laborers to continue their productions. Next, the effect on our biodiversity and ecosystem. The water pollution is able to disturb our ecosystem and biodiversity where high temperature of water can bleach our corals and reef. Then, our marine animals are lead to extinction because their species is blocked by the plastic wastage. What happened to the tourism when there is no attraction from the nature? The tourism will have low profit where they cannot produce their income as usual. Lastly, the effect on waste dumping. When there are too many wastage, this will lead to unhealthy environment. This is due to the ignorance of people in disposing their wastage in the right way. In fact, there are still lack of awareness about this matter. So, what we have to do? We have to educate them in order for them to dispose their wastage properly. And for this problem, people will portray bad image for our country. So this is not good perception about our country. So what we have to do, we have to educate and expose the clean environment to the all people.
Hello, I am Vivin and I want to talk about the effect on the misuse in leadership. Misuse in leadership basically caused by two factors. First is caused by a leader who is lack of leadership knowledge. And second is caused by original human nature which was originally greedy. The misuse of leadership in the course of performing work in an organization both can occur with external stakeholder and internally among the staff. So, what is the effect of the misuse in leadership and what is the impact for an organization? Abuse of leadership can occur from the CEO of the organization to employees such as managers. Also by upper level manager to the lower level managers and so on. There are various forms of misuse in leadership such as corruption, asking staff to do works and duties for personal gain, intimidation and harassment behavior, behaving rudely to employees, pressuring staff to change facts or breaking rules, etc. If all these abusive acts of leadership occur, the organizational activities will be disrupted, a conducive work environment will be damaged, and members of the organization will feel uncomfortable doing the works of the organization. Furthermore, an unhealthy organizational work environment can affect the morale of members. It can even trigger the competent members of the organization to become uncomfortable and ultimately decide to leave the organization. One clear example of leadership abuse is the Enron Company case. Enron and KAP Arthur Andersen have violated the code of ethics that should be a guideline in carrying out its duties and not to be violated, which led to bankruptcy and the insolvency of Enron's company was editor Arthur Andersen, one of the 5 largest accounting companies, which was Enron's accountant office. Both have worked together in manipulating financial statements and brought harm to various parties, to both external parties such as shareholders and internal parties originating in the Enron company. Conclusion: every unethical conduct by a leader will give a bad effect to the leader himself and all organizational members, and it can bring the damage to the organizational system, which can lead to the organizational destruction.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurijana binti Osman, and now I want to elaborate more about effect of women issues in economics. Women community in the world play a crucial role in reducing difficulties to sustainable development. The status of women is a major impact in our economic development. In this video, I'm going to present an elaboration of issues influencing women development in economics. Number 1, women play important roles in household as well as state affairs. Number 2, women also have restricted voice in private sphere. Number 3, women continue to suffer from publicly executed control mobility, and in some culture, women are unable to leave their house if not escorted by men. I'm going to explain more about how to develop goals in gender equalities to transform our world. It's not that gender equalities has been assumed in a comparatively narrow sense and often seen as a mean to reach economic growth goals rather than a goal in itself. There are 2 steps how to transform and develop our world. Number 1, to achieve economic growth, it cannot be improvised by one gender only. For instance, only focusing on men. We must end the discrimination against women and girls, termination all form of discrimination against all women and girls everywhere. Number 2, equal right to property ownership, economic resources, and financial services by not focusing on men only. Women also deserve to have their property and finance. Carry out reform to give women equal right in ownership.
For the conclusion, global economics ethics depend on moral principles and values that have been shared by all cultures and have been supported by the same practical experience. Each of us, in our diverse roles as entrepreneurs, investors, creditors, workers, consumers, and members of various interest groups in all countries, is jointly and essentially responsible, together with our political institution and international organization, to support and use this kind of global economic ethics.